Hello class, welcome back once again. So in this video I'm going to be going over through percentage changes and weighted averages. So what are those? Well, weighted averages, well, since you guys are all in school, you know what a weighted average is. Some things are weighted more heavily than other things. And percentage changes, well, basically how we're getting from like the change from this year to this year, from that year to that year, so on and so forth. What are all these changes looking like? So, of course, I used my good friend Nintendo again for this. My good friend Nintendo, yes, a company that is not actually a person, but a group of people is my friend. So, but yeah. Yeah, totally not. It's just what I use for my examples, because I just like Nintendo. So I'll just open up a new file here, and I hear laughing in the background. Hopefully that does not pick up on the microphone. But, I will just be moving this over to 125 for everyone to see it. And let me move this out of the way just so we can start from scratch. There we go. So, of course, you know, Nintendo total revenue changes. If you want to use the company that you picked for your assignments back a couple of weeks ago, you can go ahead and use that as well. You don't have to use Nintendo. And I'll just, I'll just merge you guys up together, and I don't know, I'll just make you a little bit bigger. There we go. Why not? That looks fine. So what we're going to wind up having is we're going to wind up having our, total revenue. And then, of course, we are going to have our percentage change down here. And why not? I'll just bold it, italicize it just for the heck of it. And I will give myself a nice little border, and then go across over to, I want to say H most likely, the top border for everyone to see. Of course, if you have that, just move some room over. There we go. And what were their numbers? Oh yeah, so this is 2019, this is 2018, 2017, 2016. Oops, not 20. There we go, 2016. There we go. And then over here, I will have in this corner, I will have some actual stuff that I need, which will be, the weighted average and the average, just so we can see the difference between the two. And I'll just bold all those, underline those, and yeah, there we go. So now we have ourselves our good old-fashioned things, and I'll just put this in currency format as well, or screw it, I'll just use accounting format just to show you the difference between accounting, or one of the differences of accounting. One of the differences being that if I put in a number, say 1200560000, and of course, let me just, while I'm at it, just to save room here, let's remove those decimal points. But as you see, it puts the dollar sign all the way on the left-hand side. Whereas if I have it in currency, it puts it right there next to it. So if anyone was wondering how I did that in my examples, that's because it was in accounting format, not currency. So let's see here, their other numbers were 1055682. Whoops, and I forgot the three other zeros. And then this was 489095000, and this is 94. That is 504459000. Helps when I look at the correct thing. So we've got ourselves these different numbers. So now we're probably going, how exactly does all this work? So here's the way our average normally works. We can always just go equal, average, and of course we go from there to there, and it will give us a number. And that's the average you'll get. But essentially what's also happening is if you don't want to type in the word average, let me just explain to you exactly what's happening in a mathematical format in this. So we would be equaling, parentheses, this plus this plus this plus this, and parentheses. And then we would be dividing it by, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, so divide by 4. and we would get the exact same thing. Obviously, just doing simply equals average, and then, you know, that colon that requires a lot less work, but you get the exact same result. It's the same number. That's what's happening. So, if I wanted to weight this, well, let's think about this. Right now, it seems they're doing a heck of a lot better in 2019 and 2018 than they were doing 2 years prior. So, I would say that these numbers right here are probably far more likely to represent the 2020 numbers than these numbers. I mean, who here really wants to be well known for the stuff they did 5 years ago? And no, that's not where you are as a person now. That's not where you are as a company now. So what's happening sooner should probably, you know, make more sense. So let's just say this is going to be equals of 1. This will be equal to 2. This will be equal to 3. This will be equal to 4. 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. So 4, 7, 9, 10. So we're going to be dividing this by 10 here. So we're going to go equal, and you know, we might have to just do this. You know, this times 1, because we know that's going to be 1, plus this, you know, times 2. Okay? See how it's going to wind up going? That times 2. And, you know, this is going to be one of those situations where you're actually going to need multiple parentheses. And Excel, if we zoom in here, let me zoom in here. Okay, let me zoom in first. 200, okay. If we zoom in here, double click, whoop, 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 whoop. Didn't want to do that. You'll notice it has a black parentheses and a red parentheses. If I were to add another thing of parentheses right here, you'll see it color codes them as well. So these are the black ones, these are the red ones, these are the purple ones. It's going to try to tell you, hey, this one ends with this one. But this one right here ends with this one. This one right here ends with this one. It tries to help you when you're trying to make these complex equations to do that. So now if I were to go and say, put inside here, now say plus, and you see, it now has me in another set of parentheses. This is plus, okay, let's say D, it's a D6, right? D6 times, so that was 1, that was 2, that was 3. Okay? Then, of course, we will plus, you know, what was it? It was, C. Yep, so C, whoop, plus C6 times 4. Then, of course, made sure that we have that parenthesis closed out. And then we're going to divide that by 10. Close it out. Now, it's giving me a little bit of an error right here as far as the purple text, but if I look up here, it is showing it correctly, where that last one's black, that one's red, that one's purple. And enter. Okay, let me scroll it off screen for a moment there. Let me try 125. There we go. Refreshing. There it goes. It refreshed itself. So, but as you see, our weighted average is far different from our average. We more heavily weighted these guys right here than we did these guys. This is 4 times the worth of this one. This is 3 times the worth of this one. This one is twice the worth of this one. And we got ourselves, they're making a weighted average. It's more likely for them to be making, you know, this much next year than it is for this much next year. So that's weighted average versus average. That's a very easy way to weight something. You just take what's more recent, give it more worth. You just have to make sure you're dividing it by the worth you're giving it. Our worth is 4, 3, 2, and 1, so that's 10. And yeah, you probably don't even need to multiply this by 1, and you'd get the exact same result. But, you know, multiply it by 1 just so you have a remembering of where it is as far as the weights go. Because if you don't see it, you might think of it as a 0 and accidentally forget. That's okay. So the next thing we need to do is let's change our, you know, percentages around here. So how much of a percentage change did they go from 2016 to 2017? Okay, well, this is going to be something very similar to our normal situation of, when we had taxes. So I'm just going to start an equation. So I'll do equals. And what am I looking at? I'm looking at equals F6. And then, how do I divide? Change from one year to the next. Oh, that's right, divide. Boom, boom. Oh, wait, that's wrong. That is totally wrong. So, did they really gain 103% from this year to that year? No. So what's the first thing I screwed up? I put the wrong year in first. So this should be the current year divided by the previous year. There we go. So now it's saying 96%. This number is only 96% of this number, which is in fact correct. But I'm not looking to see how much this is of that. I want to see how much of a change that is. And if we look at it, 96.95, realistically, we're looking at about a 3% change in the negative, right? So what do? What do I do to get this from a positive 96 to a negative 3? Well, I have to subtract the original number, right? I have to subtract 100%. What is 100% in decimal format? Minus 1. And now I'm looking at 3.05%. If I wanted to, remove some decimal places, just to make it easy, it's 3%. And you know what, just for the sake of making it color-coded differently, you guys are now all blue text. There we go. So let's do the same thing over there. Equals, parentheses, this number divided by that number. So current year divided by previous year minus 1. And they had a 115% increase, which, once we remove those decimals, it's rounding up to 116. And you know what? Like I said before, considering we don't have to worry about locking any cells here, I can just go and click and drag, and it will auto-fill in the positioning of the previous one, so I can always do that as well. So now we got ourselves 3 different percentage changes. They lost 3% from 2016 to 2017. They gained 116% in 2018, and then they gained 14% in 2019. So, once again, we can do ourselves a normal average, so equals average, and we can do from that one to this one, and we would wind up with 42.17%, in which, of course, we'll just round down to 42%. But if we want to weight this, because clearly these numbers are far more important than these numbers over here, well, we got, so this is going to be 1, 2, and 3. Okay, cool. So equal. So let's do that. So this number times 1 plus, parentheses, this number, whoops, not plus, times 2 plus this number, because the most recent, times 3, and then 3, 2, 1, that's 6. So divide by 6, close the parentheses, and then we can divide by 6. And we got ourselves with a 44.97%, which, when I round that down, goes to, round it up, goes to 45. So, you see how these numbers are that, and you're probably wondering, why do I not have a percentage change here? Well, because I don't have a 2015 number. Therefore, there's nothing to compare it to. I'm essentially comparing it to 0, which, we can't do, because it would say, oh yeah, you're 5,000,000% higher, which is not the case. I just don't have it showing. So, there we go. Once you have your weighted averages and percentage changes all working for your company, please submit it through Moodle, and you have a great day. The big project is coming up next. So, get ready for that next week.